Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Descendancy channel. Okay, so far I've done two vlogs. No? The first vlog I've done is scientific decision making applied in your personal life. And then I promised in that vlog that I'll be doing another vlog for how to find your Mr. Right using scientific method. But I was overtaken by events. Sorry, I was not able to upload it because of this COVID-19 crisis. So, I did another vlog which is about the need for a world democratic government as envisioned by the Globalist Manifesto that will help the humanity to fight crises like this, like the COVID-19. In my estimate, the world government is one way to assure the survival of the human race. Well, tonight, I will talk about my homeland, the Philippines. What do we need to do to fight the COVID-19? Everybody's thinking about this, no? Because everyone is worried. Everyone is worried. We have some fear in us, no? First thing that we must do is prayer. Yes, prayer. In fact, the descendants of Lakan, Dula, Marikina News, and the Principalia Council or Hereditary Council of the Philippines have done a prayer, Oratio Imperata, as early as the first week of March. And this was published in Marikina News, an FB group with 270,000 members. And we are imploring the health of Our Lady of the Abandoned of Marikina and the Santo Niño de Tondo in this Oratio Imperata. Our prayer is very specific. We pray to God that by April, these COVID cases will slowly go down. Very specific. We use the disinfection and we worded the prayer in 5 languages: Tagalog, English, Latin, Spanish, and Hebrew. And we published that in Marikina News and shared in our other FB groups. Now, came April 1. We computed the figures. And I tell you, the incident of COVID cases, 19 cases, went down. Yes. The first method that we use is we use the delta change method. We compared the delta change for March, last 2 days of March, and the last 2 days coming to April. And it went down. The data went down using the delta change analysis. Then, as days goes on, now it's April 5, we can now compare data using the moving average. Say, the last 5 days of March and the first 5 days of April. Compare the moving average and the statistics will really show you that the cases went down. So, what's our conclusion? Oratio Imperata is effective through the help of Our Lady of the Abandoned and Santo Niño de Tondo, because our prayer was heard by God. Now, of course, some people will not like this idea, no? Especially the atheists, no? But I tell you, let's talk management, let's talk scientific. Do you know that psychologically, the existence of God gives hope to people. And when you give hope to people, the people become very strong in fighting the virus and fighting the crisis. Management wise, believing in God is good. That's why here I am. I'm a management professor. But I'm saying that believing in God will save the humanity. Okay. Then the next thing that we want to suggest to the government, to the Philippine government, is let's benchmark on what other countries are doing. Let's imitate what they're doing. Imitation is not bad. It's a management technique. It's benchmarking. No? Like in China, they do well fighting the virus by using massive disinfection campaign. They have a 10 by 10 platoon with sprayer that goes to street by street, buildings by buildings, spraying the viruses. That's what China did. And we should also do that. Why not? It's benchmarking, you know. It's a management technique. So you're a good manager if you do benchmarking. That's the point. It's not being weak. It's not being, you know, having no idea at all. It's benchmarking. It's doing what's the best practices. Okay, now, and I want to suggest also to the Philippine government, let us listen to the experts. For instance, in the Principalia Hereditary Council of the Philippines, the head of the House of Magat Salamat, no? Dr. Delmar Taclibon. He analyzed the problem using the fishbone cause and effect analysis popularized in Japan. No? And he was able to identify some causes that has to be addressed. In fact, he wants me to write again to the President, okay, about this fishbone analysis. And then we have also in the group experts in logistics, headed by one of them is Jess Marcos. No, he has also some suggestions. So far, what are the things that the government have done? No? First, we did the lockdown. We did social distancing. We do face mask campaign. We are doing right now massive testing. We support our frontliners, jointly the government and the private sectors, and we supported the poorest of the poor. I would say that the government has done good things about this. No? This is a nice thing that the government has done. So far, so good. Huh? Actually, the Philippines is lucky. First, we responded quite early in the game. We responded. Okay, congratulations to President Duterte for that kind of response. No? Second, we are lucky because the Philippines is a hot country. We are a tropical country. And findings would say that this virus will not live conveniently in hot countries. They will die easily. If you notice, no, the virus, the most affected countries of this virus are in the cold countries. No? Specifically, in the 40 degrees north latitude of the globe. If you put a line in the north latitude, 40 degrees, you would see that it's US, China, no, and you know Italy, no, Britain, and I tell you there's something very peculiar about this latitude. Have you noticed that those that are badly affected are the former world power? Yes? Yeah. Notice this, no? Italy is the Roman Empire, right? Spain was a former world power also. Now US. And then of course, Britain was hardly was hit also, no? Hardly, no? And also Germany, France, China, etc. So there's something about this virus. It is hitting the world powers. So that's why we're lucky. Because the Philippines is not a world power yet, no? And of course, the Philippines is a hot country. So in that sense, we're lucky. Now, having said that, what do we need to do? Still to do, no? At this point, we wrote a letter to the President using the Principalia Hereditary Council of the Philippines. No? We wrote a letter, and the letter is very simple. We just requested the President to implement a massive disinfection using the armed forces of the Philippines. Disinfection campaign. Why? Because disinfection is fighting the virus. Lockdown, no? Social distancing, face mask is just hiding from the virus. We need to fight the virus. Look, we're being attacked by the virus. We need to fight back. Disinfection campaign is fighting back. Where's your patriotism? We're being attacked. A lot of dead bodies have been counted already. And we are just hiding using disinfection. We need to fight back. Even in Marikina, our group, we initiated the Marikina News and the MRRD net, no, Marikina. We initiated some sort of disinfection campaign, no. We even suggested a night disinfection campaign because we believe that days the virus are being hit by the sun. At night, nobody is hitting them. So we have to hit them at night. We have to disinfect the street and the gates and the houses, at least on those in the streets, no? The parts of the house that are in the streets, we have to disinfect them at night. That's the suggestion. And of course, this is only a private sector initiative in Marikina, so it's not as massive, no, as we did. We only do this according to the availability of funds. No? But if this is done by the armed forces of the Philippines, this could be a very massive, effective campaign. Why? Because first of all, the armed forces of the Philippines is well organized. Second, they're already on the payroll, so cost-effective ang programa. The program is cost-effective because they're already on the payroll. Right? So, come on, let's do the disinfection campaign. You see, if disinfection campaign will really lessen the burden on the medical sector. You know why? It's like this. Let's use the IPO model. No? The classic input process output model in management. We say that the input are the patients infected by COVID. No? The process is the medical process. And the output is whether the patients will recover or will die. That simple model. We want to avoid the situation where our hospital medical system will be overburdened by so many patients. So how can we do that? Let us lessen the input. Let us lessen the patients. How? Disinfection. By disinfection, we will lessen the entries of patients in the hospital system. Right? Because the virus will be hit in the street by the disinfection campaign. Right? Now, disinfection is very important, especially the fact that there is now some insinuations that, the COVID virus could be airborne. It can fly as high as 21 feet in the air. Of course, earlier finding is just only droplets or aerosol. But what if it's really airborne? So the more the need for disinfection. Disinfection will lower the inputs of patients into the hospital system. And therefore, more people will recover, lesser people will die. And lesser virus will fly in the air. So disinfection is the name of the game. That's why, Mr. President, our letter, please try to think about it. I know you're doing your best, no? And I know you're willing to do anything that will solve this crisis. And disinfection, massive disinfection campaign is one of them. It's in your desk, Mr. President. It was received formally by the appointment office, and the appointment office told us that they received it, and all you have to do is to think about it. No? Now, let's help each other to convince the President to do the disinfection campaign. Now, those who are close to the President, please remind him that we have a letter requesting him to initiate a disinfection campaign. I know that this idea is very simple and this is doable, so let's do it, right? Let's do anything that will save us. And this disinfection is one of them. Very doable, very cost effective, and it will help us. It will help the medical sector by lessening their burden of more patients coming in. I hope the Philippine government will do this one last step, the disinfection campaign by the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So, Horacio Impalata, Our Lady of the Abandon, and the Santo Niño de Tondo help us. It was proven by statistics. But God works in a very mysterious way, right? And remember, God helps those who help themselves. So let's help each other. Let's not give all the burden to God. He has a lot of problems. So let's help him. Let's help each other. President, disinfection is the way to go. Thank you and good evening.